There comes a moment when you've exhausted all your options while simultaneously coming across a product that reinvents your notion about what an honest and high-quality company looks like. The Healing Rose was the catalyst to that very moment for me. The Healing Rose Company is a female-owned Massachusetts CBD company based out of Newburyport that prides themselves in using only the best USDA-certified organically sourced ingredients for their vast line of therapeutic products. Their line stretches from lip balms, tinctures, skin balms, roll-on oils, and bath products. Their transparency places them above the rest with third-party tested results showcasing their intolerance to toxic pesticides, solvents, metals, and harmful elements. They provide full-spectrum CBD in many of their products, excluding their tinctures, which carry a broad spectrum profile, ideal for not having to worry about any low-level THC, which is common for many CBD products. That one's my favorite, and it's good on the palate. Full spectrum means that they extract from the hemp plant an array of different therapeutic cannabinoids along with CBD and their profile terpenes. The combination results in a greater outcome of healing and relaxation for any individual's needs. Whether you are an athlete looking for any recovery advantage, a patient in need of some relief to remind yourself that you are still a warrior, or someone who sees the frontiers of life with a little reserve and want to calm the mental storms that keep you from personally exploring, the Healing Rose CBD Company is here for your full body and mind optimization. Please visit thehealingroseco.com to explore their diverse line of products and support one of New England's best rising stars in an industry where ethics are fundamental, and a company like this will only be found sitting at the throne of it all. Use the code SAGAS, S-A-G-A-S, for 10% off your purchase. Again, visit thehealingroseco.com and use the promo code SAGAS at checkout for 10% off your purchase. To the many martial artists, entrepreneurs, dreamers, and thinkers, how often, for your own sake, would you love a symbolic reminder of your mentality and the perfect dichotomy to match? Murder Nerd is an independent clothing apparel line that represents the sharp, relentless focus towards personal growth and athletics. It embodies the vitality of their creative owners and the network of people who run on the same frequency. Why not elevate your frequency in comfort and style? Visit www.murdernerdsfitness.com for their personal line of shirt and hat wear. Enter the promo code SAGAS, S-A-G-A-S, for 10% off your purchase. Again, visit murdernerdfitness.com and enter the promo code SAGAS for 10% off your purchase. All right, guys, here we go. Let's get into it. I got the lights on. I got the heat up. I'm ready to expel some ghosts here. All right. So, and again, this might be another two-parter. Mostly because, it's kind of daunting to me, at least, trying to compress some of these very abstract things that I'm discovering, I guess. And I just kind of wonder if I'm going to be good at relaying all of this, and have some good continuity to it, and have it flow, and have it not kind of so spread out. But I'm going to do my best with this one. And if it's got to be a two-parter, I don't know. I guess it's whatever. It is what it is. So there's a lot of events that have happened lately, and a lot of things that have kind of helped me piece together something that's really been bothering me lately. And it's also actually pushed me to a few boundaries that I I didn't even know I had. I didn't even know that it was a thing. And it's been very helpful. And I'm kind of piecing it all together as of lately. And this will really be the first time I kind of say it out loud, which I think is why it can be difficult. Because this is all improv, right? So this could kind of go off the rails at any point. But I don't know, whatever. I kind of live for that. So let's see. So this started, I guess, a couple weeks back. And the first stage, I guess, of this whole discovery really came from just having a good talk with a friend. And in this talk, we were kind of just going back and forth a little bit with, I guess you would call it, the more ideal ways of looking at yourself, the self, problems, life, circumstance, and we're going back and forth, and he kind of gives me kind of his ideas behind it, right? His theory, his whatever you want to call it. And whether the verbiage is good for me, whether the actual modality in getting to this conclusion is something that I agree with or don't agree with, there's something in the conversation that, even in the middle of the conversation, I could feel something rising in me, and it's familiar, and it's really fucking annoying. And it's this thing that happens over and over again, which is, I guess you could say it's unhealthy, and it's also driven me to the point of even doing this. Why you're even listening, why I even make this thing. And it's this idea that I overly embrace a point of uniqueness in my circumstance. And I guess what I really mean by that is, like, I'm unfortunately of the mind that whatever you say, it may sound good and it may be very applicable, but I don't think it's going to help me, right? My circumstance is too unique. My problem is too heavy. There's too much context that is unknown to make such a simple and bold statement to relay to me, right? And that's fucking really bad. That's really bad too, in a lot of ways. That's bad where, if somebody knows that, how uninviting is that to want to, for me at least, want to talk to me, to help me, right? If somebody told you, like, yeah, whatever you say, it's like, it doesn't really matter to me, because it's like, I've probably already pondered that, and it's like, my shit's too hard, like my stuff's too difficult to deal with, to crack the code with advice like that. You'd be like, well, then fuck this guy, How uninviting is that? You wouldn't want to help that person. And I get that. And that's so shitty. That's what I've done. I don't tell anyone. It's something that just kind of unfolds in my mind every time I am in a situation where someone just cares and wants to either lend an ear or lend some words of advice. And in every other way, I'm crazy over that. I love doing that. I love having real conversations. I love sparring intellectually and spiritually and all that stuff. If that's what you want to do, like, I'm down for that. I love exploring the mind in that way. But when it comes to the most personal part, it's kind of like it just becomes very dismissive. And it's strange because I think I've mentioned this before. I've fallen into my own ego trap in this very specific stage where I think I know. It's kind of hilarious. I think I know how to help myself, so there's nothing that you could really say to help me. But guess what, idiot? You haven't helped yourself because these things still rise inside of you. So they aren't things that it isn't a situation that you have a total handle on, that you've broken down the different ideas and feelings and made multiple identifications towards all these things. You know, you don't have your thumb on it. So why would you say nothing anyone says can help? And for whatever reason, in that moment, in that very specific conversation, like I said, whether I jive with the advice or not, it's the idea that just getting advice, it almost feels offensive to me. And I'm like, all right, why am I so attached to my own method of coping? Why am I so cut off to anyone else's, what would you call it? I guess coping mechanism. It's not that I'm dismissive of their circumstance. It's when they try to parallel something to me, thinking that I could so easily put my mind in a certain place to then better my situation. Because the narrative in my mind is that, no, you have no idea the different angles of chaos and confusion that this specific situation entails. You know, I just assume people just don't get it. And you're not supposed to get it. No one is supposed to get it, right? I don't want to get your circumstance. Holy shit. We can empathize to like a very deep degree. And even if you do that, what do you have to offer? Your ear or your shoulder or your advice, right? And if I don't care to have half of that, it's like, well then what is this relationship really? What is this? You're just going to cut everybody off from wanting to help you. It's very douchey. And I don't like that. For whatever reason, it really hit me hard. And initially I was like, all right, this is like this is an ego thing. This is another place where, because of what I perceive as my own exploration, my own hard work, that that I'm at a point where I understand all the nuances to this situation, and I guess to myself, which is stupid to say. And that there's no way that someone could outsmart me in the game of how I feel pain. Right? It's stupid. I know it's stupid. And douchey and everything. So I'm like, all right, well, at least I know this. At least I now have I've had a moment of cringe. I've had a moment of feeling uncomfortable. And I'm recognizing it. And then I just kind of go down that rabbit hole of like, all right, so first stop is the ego. And I guess, and what does that mean? Somehow I'm attached to my problem. It's like when you have a problem for so long, and there's not a lot of room for not prioritizing it, I guess, daily. It feels like it's impossible to not have it bleed into your identity. And I'm just very attached to it, which almost makes me feel like I cradle my problem, protecting it from anybody else who even tries to solve it. It's kind of fucked up, right? It's almost like, all right, so what if you have the solution? Do I just cut you off and not and miss the chance of being able to actually get something that's helpful? All because I didn't think of it? That's weird. That's a weird thing. I don't like that. So I'm attached to this thing. And what comes to my mind is like, wait a minute. I think I'm starting to identify with this problem, with this circumstance, I guess, and my role in this circumstance. And I guess in general you would just call it the caretaker's role, right? Because on this journey, I have gone through countless hours, inappropriate hours, whether it's through work, middle of the night, trying to take care of my child, in tears, not in tears, with friends, without friends, all trying to scour the papers that I printed out, scour the internet, scour the books that I just fucking spent hundreds of dollars on. Half my library is about chronic disease. And a quarter of it is on drugs, and another quarter of it is on Buddhism. It's like, it's engulfed everything. So I've just created this very powerful momentum in thinking that somehow I am going to be able to solve something no one else has. And it's hard not to, right? Some people would say, yeah, I think I would do the same thing, right? The love of your life, the father or the mother of your child in your home, has some mystery predator constantly stalking it. And at moments, it has her or him. And your natural instinct is to just sharpen the blade, put the fucking war paint on, and say, I'm in it to win it. I'll die on my shield until this thing is gone. Till I vanquished whatever fucking dragon has come to this village. Not today. And you do it because you love the person. It's your most fucking powerful emotion you can have. So you bet your ass it's probably going to make you the most terrifying warrior you ever fucking seen when it comes to protecting somebody in your family or just someone you love. And in the right context, that's amazing. Right? You write books about people with these glorious moments driven by love. I would say it's probably almost all stories. So I get the magnitude of my momentum in this. And how it's bled into just who I am, what I am. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've been here before, right? This is what I did with the idea of the musician. I get obsessed with identifying with these titles because of momentum. A lot of momentum in the years that I was a musician. And it feels familiar. And a light bulb goes off in my head that kind of blinks and says, oh shit. You have no idea that you've made it full circle back to that place again. Of identifying with a title in your life. And I'm like, whoa, holy shit. And I ponder this, and a good couple weeks later passes by, and I have a conversation with my wife, and it's a heavy conversation about a few things, and this kind of comes up. And this right here is the perfect example of two things. First, of why I am wrong about what I think my capabilities are in discovering and understanding and integrating different parts of my psychology in the context of this circumstance, my problems, right? Thinking that I know better, that I'm wrong. And two, how important it is to actually sit and be vulnerable and listen, even again when your ego tells you you shouldn't listen. When you think you have a decent handle on your ego. This is the hilarious part, right? Like, I feel like I got stuck in the thing that I fucking can't stand, which is the path to enlightenment is the ego trip. And I'm trying. And all of a sudden I realize, no, motherfucker, like, how dare you think that? Your resistance to this is your greatest signal that you're wrong, that you've been practicing in the wrong way, that you've been intoxicated by what you think you have discovered, what you think you've learned about yourself. It's a mindfuck, and it's a blow. It's a real fucking steel toe to the balls. And it should be. It's actually supposed to be. And what I'm getting to is that is an example of those two things, because we had this conversation, and I'm going into it knowing that I have this concept of identifying with it and all of these things, and how I personalized it and made the circumstance unique. I'm special, right? It flirts a little bit with that victim shit. Special. And it's hard because there are shades, what would you call it, of individuality or self-experience that truly are yours. But it's a perfect space to be able to get confused and think that more is unique than should be. Because it's useful to think that certain phenomenon, certain things, certain interactions, trajectories are yours, and how to use them, right? Because we can't sit here. I'm not going to go on a tangent. on the shit that I want to say right there, but just how to use them, right? You have to take steps to getting to your most optimal place. It takes action. Action either in the molding of the mind and of the thought and of the concept, or physical action, and how that ripples in your life. Like everything is a fucking ripple. You're like a finger moving through water. It makes all those waves, and it goes out and out and out and out, no matter what you do. No matter what you do. And if you want to play that solitude monk thing and sit still, go ahead. See how many ripples you make. And I'm not saying that going to a monastery is like the wrong thing to do, and that's a different conversation. But I'm of the school of just obtain as much as you can to know what is useful so that you can utilize it. And it's okay, see, another tangent. This conversation is a perfect example of those two things, because in the conversation, it was so easily said that, to me, that, yeah, it just sounds like you have something to prove. And in that moment, it was, I relived so many things. And it just, it really, in that moment, woke me up. It woke me up to, I don't want to say the core of this story, right? Because it is a story. And the story doesn't have to fuck with my ego. The story doesn't have to elevate me to this place of deep confusion and furthering victimhood and disappointment through not knowing why. It's a story. It's causality. It's many different things that accumulate to this story. And that's the best word I can use. Maybe it's the wrong word. But the core of this thing was like, wow. Yeah, I do maybe have something to prove. And it made sense, because with my background, living in an environment where there's no need to prove anything, because you're really not worth the effort to try to prove anything. You know, this environment that slowly corroded the idea that you can just be happy with what you are and who you are. And that if you so choose to, you can elevate different pieces of yourself. But in the end, you don't have to live for anyone else. You don't have to show anyone something to know your self-worth. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, that feels like it's it. Because that was my environment. That was how I felt. That is what drove the music. And I think that is what has driven this. This deep undertow of feeling like I have to prove my worth. I have to prove my degree of love to the person that I love by constantly redlining and doing everything better than the last person who tried this. And as I've let that take its course, I'm realizing how unhealthy that is, obviously. See, and something in me is like telling me, like, no, it's not all unhealthy, right? Like, good things have come out of this. So maybe like anything else, the answer is in the gray. The answer is somewhere meeting yourself in the middle. Because if you kind of become a pacifist to everything because you have nothing to prove to anyone, nothing will get done. Nothing will get done. And I don't mean just like trivial nothings. I mean like love will not get done. If that's what you're looking for. And I don't see why anybody wouldn't be looking for that. Love in the sense of like, if you just sit there and do nothing and become this Zen rock who misconstrues emotion for sentient weakness, then you're helpful to no one. If anything, you may be a detriment to people around you. So maybe it's this happy medium, right? Because it has been a long journey and the momentum has been strong. But there's a level of obsession with this that has compounded the actual trauma of the thing itself. And now I can feel in my body that I only feel content enough to go to sleep some days. If I haven't discovered some new therapy or article or fucking PhD thesis on the nervous system or chronic pain somewhere in the corners of the fucking dark web, whatever. I can literally feel weight come off my shoulder because of feeling self-satisfied over what I've been able to achieve in that 3 hours that I was supposed to go to sleep in 3 hours ago. Because I just would not accept going to bed not understanding another angle to this battle. Ooh. Yeah. Let's boost that a little bit. We're almost done. So, Jesus Christ, it is hot. And I'm lost. I'm lost. All in all, it's been a really heavy last couple of weeks. And it's for the good. This is just another layer that I guess takes time to kind of get your nails under and actually start pushing to see if there's actually movement. And I guess that's the beauty of kind of trying to be as honest as you can in contemplating how to better a bad situation. Knowing that your mind is at the helm of this massive ship. So it means you have to work. You have to explore it, right? And embrace these difficult, shitty, bottom of the furnace moments of sitting in the uncomfortable space to come out knowing that you yet again got sucked in to your own process. I got sucked into my own way of thinking. That's justified because I've had these moments before. Oh, I've had a humbling moment. I've discovered something new. I'm more egoless, whatever the fuck you want to say. I'm awakened. I'm closer to my real self. And it is what I've said before, which is it just doesn't stop. And in the end, this has shown me the humor in how angry I get and disappointed I get at the unfortunate parts in the path to bettering yourself, because it can make you a fucking maniac, egomaniac. It's waking me up to the idea that I am still susceptible to these traps, right? Indiana Jones went through a lot of different things. By the time he got to that bag, he thought he was good. After the arrows, after the crocodiles, after all that shit. You're like, wait, all right, if I take this bag, I think I'm good. Am I good? Yeah, I must be good. I'm going to try. Boom. Here comes a boulder, right? You think you're fucking safe. And I guess one of the lessons is that you should just never feel safe. Don't ever fucking feel safe. You know, and I deeply thank everyone who helps me through these ups and downs. We all have them. And that are vulnerable themselves and willing to embrace what I have to say and have enough love to be able to try to reciprocate something back to me. And I hope that I can have more of these conversations, because I think I will be better off now with them than I was just a month ago. You know, I'm sabotaging myself in just feeling a little better. Because I'm an insane optimist. So I'm like, you know, I'll find a way to feel good. I'll find a way to shine a light on this stupid thing, whatever it is, this one situation, this moment. You know, and that can kind of screw you in identifying yourself with like, oh, well, I'm an optimist. Are you? Then how much worse are you when you feel like you can't get a handle on a certain thing? It's these titles, these labels, these identifications. You know, which at some point, it's like, I almost would make it a part of this, but it's like, it furthers that conversation of, who am I? Right? I've said this before. Oh, you hear it? Yeah, okay, yeah. It would be, if you get rid of the name. If they never gave you a name. What is this? What are you? What are these things that you get hung up on? Do you have to get hung up on them? What does it mean when you do? So it furthers and propels a lot of different new things for me. Very healthy things. Things that I guess I was always been on the pursuit of. But you just don't know the right moment, the right little perfect wrench that you need to throw into that gear so that you fall off your high horse and get back on the seat that's a lot lower. You're just like, oh, okay. Nice. We're back at base level again. Cool. I get why. I get why we're here. Why I should be here. Fuck, I hope any of that made sense. I know some of these can be a little heavy, you know, and I know this one's heavy and it's personal, but, you know, it is what it is. And I guess I got to start embracing, like, not apologizing, I guess, for, I don't know, thinking that sharing reality is too much. Because everybody has a reality. So what the fuck is too much? Right? And it's this quote, and I don't know if it's... I really like this quote, and I hope it's somewhat correct, but it's like, you're only as sick as the secrets that you keep. You know? And I know it's a delicate dance. You could just kind of be somebody who just vomits all of their melodramas. And in your technique, you're actually pushing people away. And I hope that that's not what this is. But if it does push some people away, I hope it pushes them in a direction that is good for them, you know? It's okay. But I'm getting used to this, in a way. And I enjoy the honesty, and it is absolutely 100% something where doing this allows me to compress the abstract. And when it's all sitting there on the sticky notes on the wall with the pins and the yarn, trying to figure out what the next move is, where have I been, where do I need to go, it makes it easier. It's hard to hold all this on your head. So to be able to verbalize it, when maybe you don't have a lot of chances to verbalize it to this degree, it's incredibly helpful. You know, I cross my fingers I don't fuck it up and fumble and wonder if it's going to make any sense or whatever, but, you know, there's a lot of contemplation before these, and honestly, I think the sauna helps, you know? I mean, they've used heat as kind of a spiritual practice to kind of cleanse the emotion, cleanse whatever it is, you know, becomes kind of a cathartic thing, cathartic process. And it's symbolic to a degree. So kind of a perfect set and setting to be able to explore some of these things, you know, while you're cleansing the body, I guess. So, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope there was something useful in there. And, shit, I don't know. I hope everybody's just enjoying their life right now. I don't know what month this is coming out in, but, you know, I got a feeling things are getting better, and we're all slowly seeing each other again, and that's all good shit. So, all right, guys. Peace and love. Thanks.